Welcome to our seminar track. It's on excellence, higher education, questions young people ask. I'll be doing this seminar with Elder Franklin. Elder Franklin will handle the career aspect. I will handle the excellence aspect. When you hear the word excellence, what comes to mind? Briefly. Doing good or excelling. Being a successful person. Are you a successful person? Not yet. You'll be there. We'll pray for you. All right. Any other? Perfection. Perfection. No iota of negativity in it. Any other? All right. So within the week, we'll be touching on spiritual excellence, personal excellence, educational excellence, excellence in health, and steps to success. Then we also bring an aspect of career guidance and counseling in one of the days, probably Thursday or Wednesday. But for now, today, I'll give you a brief introduction on our seminar track on excellence. Then I'll zero into spiritual excellence. That will be the foundation of our seminar throughout the week. This is what the dictionary defines excellence. Quality of being outstanding or extremely good. And in our classes, wherever we find ourselves, we know those who are good, isn't it? I remember when I was at primary school, first, my name should be there. It must be there. I remember in class 2, first term, I was first in the class. Second term, I was 18. And when the teacher was, calling out the exams results and all that, he said, Agyenim Boateng from first to 18. But I bounced back, So when we see excellence, we know. And those who excel, they attract certain people. If you are dumb in your class, trust me, you'll not get many friends. What are they learning from you? Your dumbness? No. But if you are smart, people come to you with so many things. Of course, excellence is a Christian teaching, and it's also an obligation. And I'll tell you the reason why. And all over the world, there's a call to excellence, and it's a message that is impacting young people all over the world. I think we've prayed already, but let's say a silent prayer now. Bow down your heads as we pray. Father in heaven, for these few minutes, speak to us, for we have asked in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right. Do you know the greatest of all the people in Africa, those that are dead and those living, the greatest of all? Or if I ask you to tell me who your African hero is, whom will it be? Yes, your great African hero. It will be Kofi Annan, okay? Yes. Nelson Mandela. Why Nelson Mandela? We have a South African here, so. Why Nelson Mandela? A lot to talk about. Yes, any other? Kwame Nkrumah, then who again? Oh, there are some women in town. Give me their names. Idi Amin. Are you serious? All right. There's a magazine called New African, and they compiled a list of 100 greatest Africans that are living or that have lived or they are dead. And some of them are well known. Of course, Nelson Mandela, he was a living legend. And I think his funeral, I don't know, they spent about a week conducting his funeral. The only thing that marred the celebration or the funeral celebration was the sign language, the one who was doing the sign language. He wasn't a professional. I don't know how he managed to be there, but all that he was doing was nonsense to the entire world. He was doing whatever sign language, but it was all foolish talk. Of course, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who is seen as the Africa's torchbearer and a visionary and a Pan-African. Of course, among the 100 was the African mother and child. The African mother and child is a symbol of resilient in the face of adversity. Of course, the women, our mothers, I don't know, but my mother really suffered than my mom, than my dad in bringing me up. True. I remember when I gained admission to the university, I first gained admission at Cape Coast. Cape Coast was always first. So the letter came, my dad went to pay sociology and economics. He said I should go to Cape Coast. I said no, Cape Coast is a home. He said why? He said my elder sister was there and she went through a hell. Cape Coast, if you are at Cape Coast, those days it used to be economically very hard to stay. A tube of yam was very expensive. Everything in Cape Coast town. I don't know why. How many of you are from Cape Coast? Oh, really? Am I lying? Cape Coast is also it's expensive. It's expensive to live in Cape Coast. So I said I will not go to Cape Coast. My mom said, okay, fine. Let's wait for KNUST. KNUST came. I had admission to read planning. And my dad said, I'm not paying a penny. Go to Cape Coast. But my mom, you know how women run their things. He was able to get money somewhere and went to KNUST. So the African mother and child is a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity in Africa. When there is war, when there is famine, it is the African woman and child who suffers a lot, not us. It's the woman and the child. Of course, Desmond Tutu, I hope you know this man. He's also there for religious issues and also political issues. He was a political activist during the apartheid era. And of course, there is this other group, we call them the Pygmies. And they have, that is a tribe, they have a knowledge of nature and environment. Of course, Dr. Ali Muzuri was also there. Of course, I asked for women, Mariam Makiba made it for the 100 influential people. Then our own man, Kofi Annan, who was a former UN Secretary General, was there. And these were the observations from the survey. The vast majority of people chosen were political leaders from post-independence era, few Christian leaders, missionaries and martyrs, and few contemporary thinkers and positive role models. Some are not well known at all. Of course, there is this man. He's called Dr. Felix Konote Ahulu. He's a Ghanaian, a physician and the world's leading expert in sickle cell disease. Champion of African causes in medical world, voted among the 100 greatest Africans of all time, and recently developed a method for writing African tonal languages. He's based in UK and he has authority in sickle cell. He is a Ghanaian. How many of you know him? All right. Of course, there is also another Ghanaian. He theorized that 65,000 computers around the earth could work as one to forecast the weather. The theoretical supercomputer with 65,000 nodes is known today to you and I as the internet. Of course, he brought that to solve so many of life challenges. And he is a Nigerian, Dr. Philip Enwangwali, a father of the internet. That itself CNN calls him, Bill Clinton calls him one of the greatest minds of the information age. Yes, a spiritual leader, passionate advocate for women's rights, democracy and environment. She is a woman. She received the 2004 Nobel Prize Peace Award and called on individuals throughout the world to plant and maintain 1 billion trees in 2007. She's called Dr. Wangari Maathai of Kenya, 2004 Nobel Peace Laureate, founder the Green Movement. All these people are men and women who have excelled in what they do. These are the greatest Africans. Of course, there is also another Ghanaian, we call him Dr. Isaiah M. Blankson. How many of you know him? Yeah, he's a senior scientist and he works with the NASA. I hope you know NASA. In 2006, the President of the United States awarded him the Presidential Rank Award of Meritorious Senior Executive. And he has so many other awards. He holds a PhD in aerodynamics from MIT in Massachusetts. He's a world-class and world-leading inventor. And a host of others. There's another, Dr. Ellen Sirleaf Johnson. I think currently he's the president of Liberia. He's the first African female president. And of course, this man also made it. How we know him? How many of you know him? Hey! You don't know M.A. Mediako, who received the Distinguished Service Award from several African states. Second ranking officer of the World Church. M.A. Mediako, until his retirement, has served as the executive secretary of the General Conference. He has also served as a vice president of the General Conference. He was, I think, the first black African or Ghanaian to chair the West African division as president. He also made it. So, thumbs up to Seventh-day Adventists. So, M.A. Mediako was there. Of course, who do we consider as Ghana's greatest leaders? And some of them also made it. Among all the leaders that we have in Ghana, who is the greatest? Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, first Ghanaian president. You have Dr. Kofi Busia, Prime Minister of Ghana, Oxford trained sociologist. In fact, almost all our presidents receive most of their education from the Western world, particularly United Kingdom. I don't know why, but if we had a chance to go to UK to study, grab it, all right? Yes, grab it. That is the city of, London, the city of knowledge. Then you have Dr. Hilary Liman. Then, of course, my main man is also there, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. He says, I don't know any law. I don't understand economics, but I know it when my stomach is empty. Yes, of course, he went through the back door to become a leader. He could have accomplished more, could have done more, because during his era, you couldn't speak. So he could have used that to do more for our country. Then this man is also there, J. Kufuor. Of course, we've had Professor Mills, and we also have Nana Addo-Dankwa. But what is the hallmark of Ghana's elected leaders? That is what the question that I want to ask. Why? Yes, I forgot about that. Trust me, I'm not biased. I honestly forgot. Then you have John Mahama, then Nana Addo-Dankwa. All right, he's my man. JM is my man. Smart young guy. Yeah. So among all these leaders, there is something that distinguishes them, and that is what we call excellence. But the excellence that I'll be presenting to you today, which focuses on spiritual excellence, is far more than what they have accomplished. If you grab it and you use it, you accomplish greater heights than them. I thought someone would say amen. Amen. And of course, the other distinguished Ghanaians, we've talked of Kofi Annan, we've talked of Dr. Les Kwesi-Nsaki, who is an eminent Ghanaian diplomat, president of the United Nations, way back, 1964 to 65. Way before Kofi Annan, we think Kofi Annan was, way before Kofi Annan, there was Kwesi-Nsaki. And of course, this woman also made it. We talk of Yaa Asantewaa. I hope you know Yaa Asantewaa. And this is what she said. Now I see that some of you fear to go forward to fight for our king. I cannot believe it. It cannot be. It cannot be. I must say this. If you, the men of Asante, will not go forward, then we will. We, the women, will. I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white men. We will fight till the last of us falls in the battlefield. Such a great statement coming from a woman. Then, of course, we have Arthur Watson. Then, this is also my main man, Dr. J. Kwadri Agyenim, a minister, a scholar par excellence, father of African education, and we can say he's the Booker T. Washington of Africa. Booker T. Washington is someone who lived in the United States, and he was a philosopher just like J. Agyenim. This is what Agyenim said. He says, "My people of Africa, we were created in the image of God, but men have made us think that we are chickens, and we still think we are, but we are eagles. Stretch forth your wings and fly. Don't be content with the food of chickens." Powerful statement. So among all these men, Ghanaian men, who do you consider to be the greatest? I've mentioned a few to you. Who do you consider to be the greatest? Or who will be your greatest? Kwame Nkrumah. Kofi Annan. Why? Okay. Patriarchy. No one. Why are you Mo Ibrahim? For so many years now, he has not been able to give his award to anyone. He says no African president qualifies. He has a £5 million award or something for an African leader who has served, who is no more a president, and it's on governance and leadership and whatever, and who is not charged with any corruption accusations or whatever. So for the past 4 or 5 years, his money is sitting out. I don't know why. But, he says when the search team sits down, they are not able to find any African leader. Kufuor almost made it. I don't know how, but he almost, his name came out. He was nominated, but the award was not given. For the past 5 years, no one. Yes, who again? All right, so despite his many flaws, major surveys that have been organized confirm Kwame Nkrumah as one of Africa's greatest leaders of our time. Of course, we have the University of Kwame Nkrumah named after him. Kwame Nkrumah is highly respected by other great world leaders. Of course, Martin Luther King Jr. How many of you have heard of Martin Luther King Jr.? Yeah, read history. It will really help you. And he was present during Ghana's independence. Of course, with J.F. Kennedy, you have W.B. Du Bois, and then know that he was a visionary leader par excellence. All his plans and actions reflected his passion for excellence in the United Africa. Of course, he called Ghana a star can be black, and that a black star can also shine. Listen to him. A star can be black, and also a black star can shine. When you look into the skies, you see stars, and they sparkle, they look like white. So how on earth can a black star shine? But he says a star can be black, and a black star can shine. You are a black star. Means we can shine. Of course, strategically, because he wanted the whatever of Africa, he married an Ethiopian, Fatia, and they had beautiful children. Africa can ill afford to lag behind, of course, we can't afford. And when you go to KNUST, there is this statue that will be mounted. Even when you go to Ethiopia, where you have the office of the AU, there is a big statue that has been mounted in the name of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So I ask again, who is your African hero? Yes, Ghanaian hero, African hero. Of course, so many names do come up. But for me, it will be this man we call Agyenim. He's the father of African education. He said he's not ashamed to be called an African. He said, I am proud of my color. Whoever is not proud of his color is not fit to do what? To live. Are you proud of your color? Yeah, he advocated racial harmony and cooperation. Happy, cheerful. This is what he said. Laughing is the way to go through life. It is the positive side of Christ's law of non-resistance. Probably there's trouble in the house, you have challenges, you cannot even pay your school fees. You don't have it. Everything shows that you should not be smiling. But this is what he said. Laugh and smile and go a long life with a cheerful face. Some of us, small thing, then we squeeze our faces, isn't it? They are hungry. This morning, some people were hungry. Breakfast was delayed, and they look at their faces and they are... Yeah, so Agyenim once said he loved education. This is what he said. By education, I do not mean simply learning. I mean the training in mind, in morals, and in heart that helps to make one socially sufficient. Not simply the 3 R's, but the 3 H's. That is the head, the hand, and the heart. So what Agri is saying, whatever education that you seek to get in life, it should have an impact. And where? Your hand. And where? Your heart. The problem Africa faces is a problem of the heart, a problem of mindset. We are too greedy. Too greedy. So I've grown not to respect, no, I will not say respect. I've grown not to appreciate politicians. They lie to get their way through, but when they get there, they look after themselves and their family members. The rest of us. And one of these days, there should be an uprising against politicians in this country. You should lead. Well, they are not treating us well at all. Not at all. We want to do free SHS, right? Free SHS is good. I love it. But ask yourself, do you have the infrastructure? If you have money to take your child to any school, I don't think it will be the school that I went, Prempeh Experimental. Because the standards have gone so down. We'll probably take them somewhere else. No politician. No politician. They don't take their children to the public schools. Do they? They go to the GIS and later you find them at King's College and London School of Economics. You know, and when they come, they still come in, because their father had contacts, then become ministers and directors of companies. Then first of all, we should have an infrastructure in place. We should train teachers. Then we can talk of free SHS, not an age where people still go to school under trees. Hello? You don't like what I said? All right, so he says all should be educated. That is what Agri said. No race or people can rise half slave or half free. The surest way to keep a people down is to educate a man. You simply educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you do what? This is quite popular in our ranks. And at 9 o'clock, he formed his vision. And this is what he said. I will be a spokesman for my entire country, Africa and my Africa. At the age of 9, he excelled at school. He feasted on knowledge. Every day at school was an adventure. Every day was a torment of waiting in anticipation of more worldly revelations. Latin, Greek beckoned him. Formal English and French called to him. Mathematics and sciences tantalized him, and frustration enveloped him. Let's look at it. French, Latin, Greek. He was learning all these. The only language I can speak is Twi and English. My French teacher wasn't good at all. You know, I don't know why, but French teachers, I don't know whether it has changed, but those days, French teachers used to be very mean. Yeah, very mean. So when you go to French class, you don't. So at 15, he leaves for studies in America. At the age of 15, he excelled in classics, Plato, Cicero, Virgil, Homer, and others, and became his intellectual friend. He excelled at debate. The writings of so many people, he was consuming them every day. Then oracles and tactics, philosophy, comparative religion, economics, political science. Agri never met a subject or a book that he could not enjoy. He was doing almost everything. In May 1905, at the age of 27, Agri graduated in his class with great honors, presented with the college 3 prize gold medals for scholarship, English, deportment, fluent in English, German, French, Latin, Ancient Greek, and modern Greek. One man at the age of 27, brilliant and godly, doctor of divinity, doctor of osteopathy, that's medicine, and PhD in education, pastor of church in North Carolina. Just look at him. So many things. Doctor of divinity, doctor of medicine, PhD in education. and all that. He was brilliant and godly. His ever-fertile mind wandered giggly through Colombia's outstanding academic menu, from sociology, psychology, education to Japanese language, even Japanese language. The minds and whatever. You go to Japan, and yes, the Japanese are one of the politest people that you can find on the planet. Very polite. They meet you, they bow. And they are very, very time conscious. When they say I'm coming at 10, like 10 o'clock on the dot, they are there. Of course, it's a closed society. They don't like to have Africans there. So when you go to Tokyo, or go to any parts of Japan, hardly will you see a black man. I was there for 7 weeks, and I think for the 7 weeks, how many black guys? 2 or so. Apart from where we were living, because we were a bunch of Africans who went there. Apart from where we were living, that was a school compound. When you go outside, you don't see any black man. Well, he was spokesman for Africa. He was a member of the Phil Stokes African Education Commission and the father of African education, the Booker T. Washington of Africa. Enough of Agri. But this is what Agri said: my people of Africa, we were created in the image of God, but men have made us think that we are checking. The secret is that he combined academic excellence with spiritual excellence. And this is what he said: when men are intellectually greater than others, we learn from their utterances. When they are morally better than others, we learn from how? Their lives. And this afternoon, the latter part of my presentation, we're going to zero in how you can be spiritually sound, how you can excel spiritually. Before you can think of academic excellence, personal excellence, career excellence, you need to be sound spiritually. That is the foundation. Every other thing is not from God. When you and I were going to school, when I was going to school, maybe I'll talk about it later, but when I was going to school, my motive was to get an education, then get out of poverty. My uncle always says, because the only way you can get out of poverty is through education. And I believe all of you have the same mindset. Go to school, get a college degree, get a job, then you are okay. If I ask you the courses that you are pursuing now and why, you definitely give me reasons on economics, isn't it? What are you doing now? Huh? You're a trainer. So why a teacher? To impart knowledge. Okay, yes. What are you doing now? Psychology. Why psychology?
I'm learning more about human behavior and how we interact with our environment.
After learning, what happens? Yes. You get a job. Okay. Yes. What are you? Civil engineering. You want to be? Which side are you going? Roads or buildings? Why roads? That's where the money is. Yes, of course. For a kilometer of road asphalted, it will cost about $1 million or so. Average. So that's where and road engineers are quite wealthy. They are rich. Yes. What are you reading? Yes. Mathematics. Why? To impart knowledge. All right. All the reasons that we've given are good. But at the end of today's presentation, and probably at the end of tomorrow's one, you will redefine your priorities and the reasons why you're doing education and the reasons why you're doing civil engineering and psychology and mathematics. When you redefine your reasons, some of you might opt for a different course of action. And that is the results of GNAAS Congress. We come to be reformed so that we can change our ways. I'm not saying go and stop civil engineering, but your approach to civil engineering ought to change. Hello? All right, these are a few quotations about excellence whilst I'm zeroing to spiritual excellence. Someone said, excellence is a critical component in education and development. Another person said, happiness is the full use of one's powers along lines of excellence. And this is also from someone, we don't know the person. He said, excellence is the result of striving each day to do better than the last. Striving each day to do better than what? Than the last. Meaning, after today, I need to reflect on my actions today. Then I need to do better tomorrow. Hello? Alright. Then another person said, excellence is best described as doing the right things right. And this is one of the quotations that I love. He says, selecting the most important things to be done and then accomplishing them, how many? 100% correctly. Getting it right. Then another person also said, if you want to achieve excellence, you can get there today. As of this second, quit doing less than excellent works. In other words, if it's not higher, if it's not the best, if it's not the ultimate, it's not worth for me to do it. Then another person said, if you will not settle for anything less than your best, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish in your lives. Better. So I want to talk on spiritual excellence this afternoon, which is the foundation of academic and professional excellence. You want to excel in career, you want to excel in your academics, you want to excel everything that you're doing. The bedrock of it is spiritually how high you are, how connected you are with God. E.G. White says this in God's Amazing Grace, page 271, paragraph 2. God requires his servants to do what? To excel others in what? Life. What do you understand by this quotation? God requires his servants. Are you God's servant? Yes, I am. So God expects me and expects you to do what? To excel others in this life. And also what? In character. Tell me your impressions about this quotation. What did she say? Yes, my handsome young man. What's your name?
Bright.
Bright. Is Bright in the Bible? No. Oh, which one Bright in the Bible?
What's it? The bright and morning star.
Oh, yes. That's a smart guy. He didn't even know. All right, so Bright, your impressions about this quotation from Lady White?
Well, she's telling us that God wants us to become the best among others wherever we find ourselves.
Okay, any other? Your impressions? Oh, talk to me. Yes. Oh, no.
Just as he said,
Yeah.
God wants us to be good in everything that we do.
All right, in everything that we do. In some, this is what she'd say. We should be the best in everything. In other words, the Adventist educational system should excel at all others. Valley View should be there. All others. The Adventist health system should excel more than all the other health systems that we have in the country. The Adventist family structure should excel more than all the other family structures we have in this country. The Adventist economic system should be more sound and better than all the other economic. In essence, what he's saying is that I ought to be better than our colleagues who are not serving their colleagues, who are not God's servants. I've been in GNAAS for some time now, and what the man said this morning, Pastor Ivy, is true. I've never seen any GNAAS member who actively serve God on campus and outside campus in church, walking around and not doing anything. Most of them after completion get scholarship, go read whatever, then they come. Those of us who don't go, we stay here. And we are doing well. I hope you get my point. We should be the best in everything that we do. God desires and requires that we be the best. We excel at this in your class. Whether physics, whatever, you should be the best person there. He said, who is the best student in this class? It should be you. But it will not come easy. It needs hard work. It means that you fortify yourself spiritually. It means that you have to be rooted deeply in God. Without that connection, everything will be the world's one. But show me a serious Seventh-day Adventist. Show me someone who is connected to his Maker, and I'll show you an excellent student. No wonder nowadays our students are getting the first class and the rest. Young men, young women on campus, always actively in the service of God, carrying chairs, going here and there, going for canopy, going for evangelism here and there, and they finish with first class. Some of them even don't get a chance to write their mid-term exams because their mid-term exams were fixed on Sabbath. So 30% squash, but still they go and write the 70 and they get A. Amazingly, that is the God that we serve. He wants us to excel more than any other. We should excel at this in life, everything that makes up life, and in character. And that's the high expectation God has for us. One of the blessings God promises to those who obey Him is that you should be the head and not the tail. And that is found somewhere in Matthew. But this afternoon I want to touch on something that Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5 about excellence in spirituality. If you have your Bibles, I know you don't have, go with me to Matthew chapter 5 verse 17. And that is where you're going to pick the principles of spiritual excellence from. Matthew chapter 5 verse 17. I'm reading from, I think it's on the screen. Think not that, this is Jesus speaking, that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill them. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one title shall not wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Verse 20 he says, for I say unto you, this is where the spiritual excellence that Christ wants us to do or to be comes from. He says, for I say unto you, that except your righteousness, that's what? Exceed who? The righteousness of the Pharisees. Ye shall in no case enter what? The kingdom. And this is Christ's definition of spiritual excellence. What was the definition of excellence? To excel better than others, isn't it? Now Jesus is saying, for I say unto you, except your righteousness. Now we seek spiritual excellence. Unless your spirituality exceeds that of the Pharisees, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Jesus was not speaking to the entire congregation or the entire, he was speaking specifically to his disciples, as I'm speaking to you. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees. Jesus says if your level of righteousness does not exceed, you cannot be saved. Now the question that I want to ask is, God setting up a competition for us, between us and the Pharisees? What is he trying to do? If he's not setting up a competition, he's actually setting up a competition, isn't it? Don't you think so? He says, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, competition. The righteousness of the Pharisees, let's say, is here, and Christ wants us to be there. Exceed that of the Pharisees. Up, higher than that of the Pharisees. And trust me, the Pharisees were living righteously. I mean, on the face value, yes. Before a Pharisee can break one of God's 10 commandments, he might have committed other 20 or 50 commandments set up by the Pharisee council. I don't know if you get my point. So Christ is saying, unless our righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, we cannot. Of course, he's not setting up a competition, but clearly God has a standard for us, and that is so high that no standard is higher than that. Not even that of the Pharisees. And that is the spiritual excellence that he expects from you and I. You have this foundation in your heart, you go places. Am I boring you? Alright, he says, except your righteousness shall you see the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. Then he is breaking it down. What does it mean that your righteousness will exceed that of the Pharisees? He says, ye have heard. Now he quotes the law. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not do what? Thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments, isn't it? And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. That is the standard that we all know. Now this is a higher standard. He's bringing another higher standard for us. He says, but I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with who? His brother, shall be in danger in judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council, but whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. See. No, I don't know whether you've seen where Christ wants us to be. Spiritual excellence. He wants us, the standard that he's setting for us is not that of the Pharisees. Higher. He says, yes, the Pharisees believe that if you kill, yes, judgment is there. But I'm telling you that if you have a lying tongue about me, brother, already we kill people with our tongue, isn't it? We backbite and do all that. So that is the spiritual standard that Christ is setting for us. Except your righteousness shall exceed that of the Pharisees. And I want to make a connection so that you can understand that to exceed means to go beyond. To go beyond what the Pharisees were doing. To go above. Exceed. To go above, to go beyond. So he says, unless your righteousness exceed that of the Pharisees, you cannot go to heaven. What Christ is doing when he says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever, and all that. What Christ is actually saying is that for the Pharisees, thou shalt not kill meant don't shoot anyone, don't kill anyone. But to you, it's not like that. It's a higher one. Things that will do that will kill a brother, don't even get there. Jesus said, you have heard the saying, thou shalt not kill. And for the Pharisees, that meant thou shalt not kill. Physically. And I ask this question, is it good not to kill physically? Yes. But we kill people spiritually and emotionally, isn't it? We torment people day and night. And Christ is setting up the standard higher than that of the Pharisees. Of course, Christ gives an example of the righteousness of the scribe in verse 21. He says, ye have heard that you should not kill, and killing there was physical. What Christ is doing is giving an example of righteousness that exceeds that of the Pharisees. You don't have to go deeper in order to rise higher. Don't even be unreasonably angry. That is what Christ is saying. Now, that's a different approach to killing, because we realize we can kill people emotionally. And when you kill someone emotionally, that's a higher standard. You need not to do that. Probably, if a teacher consistently tells a student that you are an idiot, you are a moron, you are dumb, you are whatever, a numbskull, you don't have anything in your skull, you will never learn. That is murder. That is murder. You are killing someone's dream. I have this man in my church, and he used to believe that he was stupid. He says when he goes to school, the teachers see him as a very brilliant young man. They see him as a leader, but when he comes home, because he has a big head, the father says, when I could feel, wow, tika kraka, I drink beer, and this man was not able to go to school. He was not able to finish college. Very brilliant man in the church. He has not been to college, but when the whites come, he is the one who translates. I don't know if you get my point. So all that Christ is saying is that don't go beyond the physical manifestations of things. Go beyond it to spiritual and emotional. Don't kill people emotionally. Don't kill them spiritually. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees. Unless it exceeds that of the Pharisees. He says, ye have heard that it was said by them, verse 27, thou shalt not do what? Commit adultery. But what does Christ say? Anyone who looks and lusts. So when you are walking, as Randy said, walk straight. You can look, but don't lust. Anyone who looks at a woman and does what? And lust of the hair. Now, in all this, understand this, that Christ is going again to an example in the law of God, the Ten Commandments. And there's no higher example of righteousness than what the law expresses. But he's making things clearer and bolder to us. That the Pharisees, yes, the Ten Commandments is there, but go beyond it. That is where I want you to be. And that is spiritual excellence. So he says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, in contrast, I say unto you, whosoever looketh at the woman to lust after her has already broken the seventh commandment. Simple. And that's a higher standard. When I don't sleep with a young lady, I have not committed any adultery. The church obviously cannot discipline me for that. Can they? No one has seen me committing adultery. But if it comes to the light that I've committed adultery, the church can discipline me. But what if I look lustfully at a young woman and I desire to have her in bed? The church doesn't know. You can't be disciplined for that. So God is not making, or Christ is not making it less for us. The spiritual excellence that we see goes over higher than the law of God. Though the law is whatever the totality of spirituality, God wants us to excel more than the Pharisees. You seek for higher education, have a good spiritual life. And that's a higher level. So in order to keep the seventh commandment, we have to be careful how we look at the members of the opposite sex. And women and men, you need to dress appropriately so that no young man will look and fall victim of the seventh commandment. Of course, if you're a young man, and here comes a young lady with tight jeans, tight whatever, as if someone painted them. Of course, nowadays they do the makeup as if someone painted them. You have to watch your eyes so nothing happens up there, isn't it? And that is righteousness that it sees. He says, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees, that is spiritual excellence. So Christ is not making it simple for us. So in essence, spiritual excellence is the most excellent life. If spiritual excellence is the most excellent life, then it's the life lived conformity with the law of God. Spiritual excellence is a life that is lived with the conformity of the law of God. Look at the commandments of God. How many of them are you breaking? Which one are you breaking now? Check it. Check that your life is in conformity with everything that God has said. And trust me, it will have an effect on your education. It will have an effect on your career. It will have an effect on your business. Your personal life will be in order. People will look at you and they will marvel whether you've seen Christ face to face. Hello?
Hi.
You have a different heart, and that's where God wants us to be. Spiritual excellence is the most excellent life. Then it's a life lived in conformity with the Lord. John 14 verse 21. He says, he that hath my commandments and do what? Keepeth them. He that has my commandments and keep. Everyone has the commandments of God. We all know the 10 commandments, isn't it? But he says, he that keepeth them. What does keepeth mean? Obey them. It has become a daily whatever for him. That person will be someone that God loves. He says, for God so loved the world that he did what? And what? Everyone who believes him. So there is an action that we are supposed to do. And there is a general love that the world enjoys from God. He says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should have what? So there is a general love that God has for the entire world. But for those who obey his commandments, he has a special kind of love for them. You, if you do. He that has my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved by who? My Father. So there is a general love from God to all humanity, but God has a special love for you and I. Matthew 5:45. For he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sendeth rain on the just and the unjust. This is a general love. When God pours out rain, doesn't it fall on the evil's farmer's land? It does. And the one who is good, it does, isn't it? This is a general love. Somewhere in John 14:22, Judas saith unto him, not Iscariot, Lord, how is it that thou wilt manifest thyself unto us, not unto the world? This is a question from Judas, not Iscariot. He says, Lord, how is it that thou wilt manifest thyself unto us, your disciples, not to the world? Jesus answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words. You seek spiritual excellence, you seek excellence in education, whatever be what you seek. Love God first. He says, seek ye first what? And everything will be added. This is what Christ means. If you put the kingdom of God there, number one, he automatically arranges your life in order. I've never faced Sabbath exams before, but my brother has. For so many years, he couldn't get out of university because he has not written the exam. One paper, and the lecturer was a 7-day Adventist. He went to see the lecturer, changed the date from Sabbath to another day. The lecturer said, go and write. All your folks are writing. They all graduated. Years back, he has to go and write. God has a way of keeping his people. If you stick to his words, Everything that you desire in life, whether academic, whether career, it will come straight up. And this week we'll be sharing our life stories with you to encourage you, not to boast, but to encourage you so that you can make the right choices for your life. And the first choice that you can make is not the course that you want to do. I may be surprising some of you. It's not to think about the course. The first choice that you have to make is to purpose in your heart to do thou says the Lord. And all other things will be added. He says, and my Father will love him and will come unto him and make our abode with him. E.G. White says this. He says, the Savior blessed all who sought his help. When Christ was on earth, he loves all the human family. But to some, he is bound by peculiar tender associations. Listen to the word scale. The Savior blessed all who sought his help. When Christ was on earth, he loves the human family, everyone. But to some, he is bound. When you say someone is bound, what do you mean? He can't, there's no other way for him. He's bound to do it. But unto some, he is bound by peculiar tender associations. His heart was knit by a strong bond of affection to the family of Bethany. And I know you know the family of Bethany. And for one of them, his most wonderful work was wrought. God, Christ, preserved one of the beautiful, amazing miracles of his ministry on earth for someone that he loved, Lazarus, and that family at Bethany. So he is a good God to everyone, but even in the church, there are some that he is bound, eternally bound. And I'm putting emphasis on the bound to make your life straight. He is bound because of the covenant that you have with him. Bound. Bound. Close friends. And when you have a chance and you go home, read Giselle Bailey's page 254 and see what she says about the family in Bethany. All right. Now, even with the disciples, when they were praying and whatever, Christ would take Peter, James, and John to go to the higher mountain to pray. They were part of the inner circle. Even among the 12, they were the closest to him. So he reserved all the life-ending scenes of this planet to one of the ones that he loved. That is John the Beloved. Love Christ and you reveal mysteries to you. Love Christ and you give you everything that you need to excel academically. And no subject will be difficult for you at all. Every believer, listen to me carefully, every believer who is not doing well in class, and if you want to check, you can check. Every believer who is not doing well in class is not a good Christian. You check your life, you order your life, and it's in line with what I'm not saying any lazy student. If you're a good Christian, you can't be lazy. You will sit up and read and study. But you have more time for God. You have more relationship with God. More than your textbooks. And you will not be a lazy student in class. You will not be the last. It's at the head, not the tail. And the root of that, to excel in life, is having a higher spirituality. You wake up in the morning, you don't pray, you don't study your Bible, and you want God to bless you. It won't happen at all. He will give you the general blessings because he says he pours his rain upon the evil one and that of the good. That general blessing, for God so loved the world, that general blessing, but he is not bound by any peculiar reason. Read my lips. He's not bound. You make a good relationship with him, he is forever bound. Bound, that is my son. He has to pass. He has to do this. This is where I want him to pass. And all that. And you put your feet on higher ground. And you will not be the same. Now, let me bring you another story. Exodus chapter 19:4. He says, "Ye have seen that what I did unto the Egyptians, how I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now again, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians." And the question I want to ask is, what did God do to the Egyptians? What did he do? Of course, we know the Egyptians, when the Israelites were in Egypt and they were going away, so many plagues. How many plagues? 10 of them. And what happened? Finally, what happened? So this is God speaking through Moses, and he said, "Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself." This is God speaking. Now we have two groups in this story, or in this quotation: the Egyptians and the Israelites. And look at it and read it microscopically, and give me this answer. Whom did he destroy? Eh? And whom did he bear on eagle's wings?
Israelites.
Two classes. Always there are two classes in this universe: those who are on Christ's side and those who are on the devil's side. In this case, God is saying there were two nations, the Egyptians and the Israelites. But for the Egyptians, I killed them. I ended their lives. All the host of Egypt, the whole army of Israel, one day in the Red Sea, were gone. Totally gone. But for the Israelites, he carried them on the eagle's wings. You know why? Because of this. It says, "Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice, indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be" what? "A peculiar treasure." You know what a treasure is? What's a treasure? Eh?
Something well precious.
Something well precious. Yes. Look at the words. "If now you will obey my voice, and indeed keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar," not just a treasure, a peculiar treasure, "unto me and above all people." In this case, what Christ is saying, if the nation Israel will obey his commandments, he will set them aside. Not only that, there will be a peculiar treasure. If you treasure something, your eyes are always on it. No enemy can get close to something that you treasure. Not at all. And this is where he was setting up the covenant. And you can let this covenant be yours. He says, "If you obey my voice." For a covenant to work, there are two parts: God's part and our part. In this case, the Israelites. He says, "If you, Israel, will obey my voice, this is what I will do. You will be a peculiar treasure unto me, and above all people. So I say unto you," what's your name? Entry. If you obey God's word, God is saying he will take you, and you'll be a peculiar treasure above everyone else. I thought someone would say amen. Amen. And that is the fundamentals of spiritual excellence. Obey him, and you'll be above everyone. Everyone in your class. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. "And ye shall be a holy nation unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy." So now God is setting out the conditions. And the conditions that he's setting out is that I am holy. So you also have to be holy. For you to have a spiritual life that is higher than that of the Pharisees, you need to live holy lives. Hello? No, because the Bible says no one can see God except he be holy. And somewhere he says no one can enter the kingdom except he be holy. Fundamentally, you cannot see God unless you are holy. So holiness is a virtue for excellence. If you want to excel, strive for holiness. Because he says, I am holy, you must be holy because I am holy. And he says, and I have severed you from other people, that you should be mine. I went to Koko, I didn't go to Wesley Girls. Any Wesley girl among us? Anyone went to Wesley Girls? What is sever mean? And you are also a lawyer, so you'll be good with grammar. What is severed mean? What does it mean? And he said, I have severed you from other people.
Sever means to take away.
To take away.
Cut away.
To cut away. All right. To set apart. To make it peculiar. To make it unique. And that's what God is saying. If you and I obey his laws, he will set us apart. He will make us peculiar. The reason why we are not unique in our classes and in our organizations that we work is that we have not obeyed God. So God has not set us apart. We don't really obey him. We don't really live up to the bill, up to our calling. But if you will live according to the statutes of God, he will definitely set you apart. Now, if you have severed your finger, what have you done? It means you've cut it off. If you have cut it off, you've severed it from your body. So God has cut us, as we said, severed us from other people. And that will lead us to another thing, another principle that you and I have to learn. If he has cut you from other people, from the world, it means you have no relationship with the world. It means your associations ought to change. It means you cannot do things like the world. In essence, all that God is saying is that you cannot eat like the world, you cannot speak like the world, you cannot date like the world, and you cannot spend money like the world, and you cannot go to places like the world. So in essence, the principle is check your associations. Check how much the world has in you. Hello?
Hi.
Check how much the world has in you. Take them out. And by taking them out, it means God is cutting you from the world, from all those associations. You cannot date like the world. You know, so many people come to Christ, they come to the church and they still want to behave as in the world. No, it doesn't work that way. He says, when you come into me, the old life is what? You are a new creature. Simple. You cannot be in the world and still maintain those associations. You cannot be in the world, in the church and still date the way the world dates. No. You cannot stay in the church and still be having boyfriends sleeping around. No. It doesn't work that way. God can't bless you. The general blessings you receive. But the ones that are reserved for his peculiar people, you cannot get. No way. He will not shower you with that. Genesis chapter 19, verse 44, whilst we try to wrap up. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on my eagle's wings and brought you up here. That's the quotation again. Egypt represents the world of sin. And God is saying, I have brought you out of the world of sin to me. You could not be mine while you were in Egypt. You couldn't be mine whilst you were in Egypt, but so I deliberately came and asked Moses to come and get you out of the world so that I can set you apart as a holy nation. Another condition of righteousness that I see, as I said, is separation from the world. Cut the world off. You watch certain TV drama that does not bring honor and glory to God. Cut them off. Yes. They call it, what's the name? Yeah, kum kum, whatever. I haven't watched it before. But I don't know why. Soap operas or whatever, was for the the young ones, but now even the old people are. I don't know why. They are glued to their television watching Kumkum, but I visited one elder, quite old, and he was complaining to me that even on Friday evening, the wife is watching Kumkum. They can't let her sleep. How many of E.G. White books have you read? That you're wasting precious time watching Kumkum Baja. And you want to excel? No way. We all do. You see, in our churches, when you go for prayer meetings and we ask for those who want to have spiritual growth, we see the number. As if spiritual growth comes as a magician, as a magic. You come then I give you spiritual growth. No, it doesn't. It's hard work. Cut them out. Cut the kumkum badges. Cut the so many things that you watch that attracts your attention. That still make you have association in the world. Cut them off, and you'll be a peculiar people. I don't know what is holding you. I know mine. Of course, years back I used to go to the sports stadium. Man United forever. But now I don't go to the sports stadium. I don't remember the last time. For about 3 months now, I haven't watched television. I'm not saying don't watch television. I am cutting my associations. Oh, you're getting my point. I am cutting mine. So if you think television is making you go back to the world, cut it off. Was just yourself, how many of E.G. White books have you read in a day, or in a week, or in a month? None. And you spend time watching Kumkum Baja. Hello?
Hi.
Yes. I hope I've been able to help you. And yes, many Christians follow Jesus this way. And this is how they follow Jesus. We put one hand in the hand of Jesus, or sometimes both hands. But whilst Jesus is pulling us, we're still looking at the back. Looking at the parties that we miss, and the drinks that we should have been part, and the football sessions that we've been part. You know, people sit in church and they are wondering about Man United Chelsea match. And just after the match, you get out of the auditorium, someone will say, hey, Yashemu, how were they able to know?
Live score.
Yes, live score. It means, listen to me, and those are the snares of the devil. Difficult to cut. You are not watching the match, but you are watching it in spirit. So there's someone. Physically, you are not watching, but in spirit, you are watching. Straight away, they come, hey, I'm too. Then, what is it? Chelsea Yashemu too. Oh, okay. Right in church. You know. So whilst we tend to associate ourselves with Christ, we have not